It was cold and dark and wet in Leipzig on the night of the 31st of March, 1742. The darkness was not unexpected, but the extreme cold was without precedent, and it had been raining incessantly for 3 weeks, as if in preparation for some dire event. One can imagine Johann Sebastian Bach working feverishly at his clavichord, only dimly aware that in the adjoining room his second wife was giving birth to his 21st child. And so it was that on that cold, dark, wet night in Leipzig, there came into this world one of the most curious figures in the entire history of music in Western civilization, a man who did not change the course of music one iota, a man who defined definitively the doctrine of originality through incompetence, a man who triumphed over the most staggering obstacle ever placed before a composer, absolute and utter lack of talent. Patricia Schickley of the University of Southern North Dakota at Hoople has devoted her entire life to the discovery and study of works by PDQ Bach. In 1953, Patricia Schickley discovered, quite by chance in all fairness, a piece of manuscript being used as a strainer in a certain caretaker's percolator. Almost overnight, what had been neglect turned into overwhelming avoidance on the part of music lovers everywhere. For Professor Schickley, there was no turning back. PDQ Bach was the last, and by all means the least, of Johann Sebastian Bach's 20-odd children, and he certainly was the artist of the lot. So much so, in fact, that we are tempted to wonder whether old J.S. really was still at the height of his creative powers, until we remember that in the life of an artistic giant, the spirit can function quite distinctly from the flesh. Although he had little love for his son, Johann Sebastian Bach allowed the boy to be christened at the age of 5 with not a name but a series of initials, PDQ. Johann Sebastian Bach also paid his son the ultimate gesture of indifference in 1750 by dying. After his death, the family gradually dispersed, and PDQ was left on his own. By 1755, PDQ was in Dusseldorf, apprenticed to a carpenter. It was during his stay here that PDQ discovered the trick of playing melodies on the saw, using a violin bow. The only problem, however, was that he could play in only one key. Thus this instrument was called the C saw. Although PDQ devoted most of his life to music, he managed to find a bit of time to bow to the basic animal instincts of man. Romance. When PDQ Bach met his second cousin Betty Sue, it was love at first sight. because of his total incompetence as a composer, and because of his utter dependence on the bottle, PDQ Bach died in 1807 at the age of 46. And now our cast of award-winning performers. Heather Shelby as Professor Patricia Schickley. Diane Nelson and Barry Barrington as Betty Sue Bach and PDQ Bach. The producers would like to extend a very special thank you to Barry Barrington, who played the role of PDQ Bach. Without Mr. Barrington's eager assistance, this enlightening documentary could not have been possible.
Damn right.